All right, go.
All right, everyone, welcome back to our 2024 gaming podcast where Stone has seemed to have put us in the rearview mirror and dusted us this season. He is winning with 100 wins. Jamie has 57. I have 52. And since we go off of wins, it is mathematically impossible if it wasn't last week when we were absent for the holiday vacation that we are not going to catch Stone. There's even a chance that combined we don't we don't catch him with the number of picks he's going to have this week. He's going to have 15 picks. So we are coming off a good week. We were 18 and 12 last week. We added 5 units. It was our most wins we've had so far. Now, certainly the way we do it as a kind of a pyramid that the longer the season goes on, the more chances you get wins. But I kind of just leave it at that and pass it over to our leader, Stone, and see if he has any comments.
Yeah, I'll just say Jamie was in this position a few weeks ago, earlier in the season, to get 10 player picks, and I'm going after that. I no jinx, can't jinx it. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna get 10 player picks this week, and it's gonna be a record-breaking season for me.
All right, well, betting gods, I pray that you had the same spiteful revenge that you had on me when I went from 10. That was my downfall. When I got up to 9, it was downhill from there. I've been recovering these last couple weeks, got back on the win train, but it was a long fall down for me. So I'm hoping the same thing happens for Stone. I do want to make a correction. It's not impossible. It's just highly improbable. I have, 10 picks this week. There's 5 picks left in the season. If Stone lost every single pick and I won every single pick, it is
It is
possible.
possible,
Okay?
yes.
Did you get to 100?
Yes, I get to 100.
10?
10, 10, 5 weeks
12?
left. 5 weeks left, buddy.
No, we only have 3 weeks left.
3 weeks? We're not doing the Super
We
Bowl?
only go to week 20.
If we were
Oh, I
doing,
better.
yeah, we're not doing conference championships because at
Okay.
some point it gets a little like if I got like 6 player picks and like Jamie's got
Yeah.
like 3 and Connor's got like 4, like how many possible game picks can we make for 2 games? It's gonna be
10,
hard for us.
So
12,
we went
14.
to
All right, well, then
last
he's
year.
right.
We just
It's
went to
impossible.
divisional.
Yeah,
I
division's
haven't
gonna be
counted.
hard too.
I haven't counted the futures, so there's more wins there, and I haven't counted.
Just
And
a
then so
few.
3 weeks. So even if you got your 36 over the
36.
next 2 weeks, 100%, and all of your futures, we would not catch him. I've
So
been
close.
thinking about that. I'm like, wait, there's a mistake.
Well,
But
I'm going for Connor mentioned it. I'm going to double your wins or your wins combined. That's my goal now. So we'll see.
I
Well,
do think that Jamie and I could get in the positive percentages. I think if we get hot these next couple of weeks plus futures,
Oh
that
yeah,
I think that's the goal. If everybody in the podcast went positive, um, and even if Stone puts up 120 or 130, you can't be upset about that. There's
no,
no way I
yeah,
was putting up 100 and
for sure.
no way I'm putting up 100. So
no.
we'll go over to the player side, or excuse me, the game side of things. And how I have it this time is Jamie's first, I'm second, Stone's third. And just to pass it over to Jamie, this is the first time this season that you've had three
Yes,
picks.
yes, yes. If you look at
Incredible.
my, it's really bad out here. I mean, if you look at my game picks, I'm 10 and 22, which in like the grand scheme of things, isn't horrible. It's just I just haven't had enough picks because I
Mm-hmm.
haven't picked 2 right in a row and forever. So like possibly this whole season. So I'm excited about this week. Like I said, after that 10 pick jinx, it was all downhill. But now I'm getting back on the horse. So we're gonna start things off. We're gonna go with the hometown team, the Commanders. I'm gonna take them to cover 6.5. And that's at minus 108 versus Dallas. Dallas doesn't have much to play for. They could be starting Trey Lance. We should put this game away. I said this about the first Dallas game, but put this away early, make it easy win.
Yeah, and this is one of the rare games that actually matters. Like the seeding does matter for the Commanders here because it's a difference of either playing the Lions or the Vikings or Who's the 6th seed or the 3
Yeah,
seed?
either Tampa Bay or the
Or
Rams.
yeah, sorry, not the
Yeah, the
Lions.
Rams.
The Eagles. You either play the Eagles or the Rams / Tampa Bay. So that's a pretty big difference in my opinion.
Yeah, we do not want to play them.
All right. I had a good win last week. They got a lot of momentum right now. So I'm going to make my first pick. It's a game for today. I'm going to take Pittsburgh Cincinnati over 47.5. I do think that since he is, I think Joe Burrow's the MVP. I really think that. I know that might sound crazy. He might be third just because the record, but their defense is so soft. They're going to give up points. He's going to score a ton of points. So I think this gets potentially unhinged. Both teams have something to play for, the playoffs or the division, and so that's at -115.
Yeah, I think I almost agree with Joe Burrow being MVP because when you think about MVP, like you think about if Joe Burrow wasn't on the Bengals, what would their record be? They might get 3 wins if they're lucky. In my opinion.
I mean, I disagree with that line of thinking because what would the Commanders be without Jaden Daniels? You can make that case for a lot of quarterbacks in the league.
I agree, but a lot of like the Bills, they have a serviceable defense. The Ravens have a good defense. I don't know. I just feel like what Joe Burrow
I
has
think the
been putting
numbers.
up is just incredible, and he's actually just carrying that team completely.
In
If
fact,
yeah,
go ahead, Stone.
if they make the playoffs, I think maybe he should be considered, but it won't happen. But
That's where I'm at. I think if they make the playoffs, he should win it, but of course, that probably won't happen. All right, pass it over to you for your first pick, Stone. You will have 6 picks. Sweet.
all right, so this one is a kind of a double pick. It's lining up with my future of the Lions winning their division. So if I win this week, Detroit -3 at -108. There's a chance I could lose this bet and also Minnesota covers but loses, but got to go all in. Double pick for my future. Would be kind of disappointing. They have 14 wins and don't win the division, but whatever.
That would be crazy. And, this year might actually institute an NFL rule change because a 14, 13 win team is going to be a wild card. There's going to be definitely some talks in the competition committee about that.
Yeah.
Sucks to be the Bears.
Yeah. Anyways, getting back to me, I am going to go with the Cincinnati game as well. I'm going to take Cincy to cover the 2.5 at -112. It gives me a little bit more time to talk about Joey B. But this is as desperate as you can get for a team. They have to win, and I think you saw the Russ pendulum swing back last week. He was good for a long stretch, and then he wasn't so hot. I mean, I don't think he's good. I think since he takes advantage of that, and not that Joey B can't be the MVP, I'm on the Lamar bandwagon. Just shout out that he broke Michael Vick's rushing record, and his passing yards are on par with Aaron Rodgers' best season. I think that's crazy for MVP.
I think the Steelers are frauds. I've been
Yeah.
saying it for a couple
Well,
weeks.
you see this every year. They somehow manage to sneak in the playoffs. They have some moments and then they lose in the first round and it's over. But
yeah, we beat them a couple years ago when they were undefeated, and I don't think they won another game. And then this one, it just says they have one script they have to run to win. Anything else is a loss. That's what it feels like to me. So I had this on my
yeah,
board. So
Jamie sniped 2 of my picks already.
yeah,
So I
I'm
might
gonna
have
have to
to
cross this one out.
yeah, I might have to start going back to the drawing board here.
You won't. My third one will not be a snipe. I don't think.
Okay. I'm gonna do something I said I wasn't gonna do for the rest of the season, but I'm going to kind of hope that Miami is just gonna drop the ball like they seem to do every single year, and I'm gonna take the New York Jets money line at -105. They're at home. They're really not playing for anything other than to ruin the season, and we've already kind of said on the podcast before, Miami playing in cold weather. This would just be the Aaron Rodgers thing to do right here, is to
Yeah,
not be.
it could be his last game. It could
Yep.
be his 500th touchdown pass.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things. That would be a good way to go out. I mean, amongst all of his other drama he's got going on. But throw this 500 touchdown, throw it to Devontae Adams, walk away from the game, buddy.
Yeah. And it'll just be one touchdown. He'll just have 500. He won't get a second one.
89 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Yeah. He's not throwing
Oh
it
my
to Garrett
goodness.
Wilson. So
No. Oh, Garrett said, yeah. I almost want Aaron Rodgers to stay on the team to see what the Jets do
oh yeah.
with that.
They were interviewing Mike Rabel. That would actually be a great head coach candidate for them, but I doubt he wants to go there.
They had a good defensive coach already. They
They need an offensive coach. Well, it depends how they draft and all that. Whatever.
they have to get rid of Aaron. Is what the first thing.
Yeah.
Remember when the Titans fired Vrabel? Now they're the worst team in the league.
The Titans
Yeah,
aren't the
remember
worst
that?
team in the league.
Yeah, I was about to say.
They
I
are
think
bad.
they're bad.
Yes,
They're
are
bad.
I think they are the worst team in the league.
Well,
The Giants exist.
our good friend
the Giants
Will
just
Levis.
put up 46 or something.
Yeah.
Listen, Will
right.
Levis is not helping the Titans at all. Okay, we've talked about him on the podcast, so don't throw it all on him.
Yeah.
Well, the
All right.
Saints are probably the worst team in the league right now too. Well, just because they're injured, but there's a lot of bad teams out there. Okay. Moving on. Another team going against a bad team. Another one where the seeding actually matters. Well, if the Steelers lose today, the Chargers can steal the 5 seed from them. So I think the line seems pretty low going against the Raiders at -4.5. I think it's kind of considering if Steelers win today, they can't change up the seeds, but I'll take it. I'll take the chance that the Steelers lose it, and this line's at -108.
Been
Yeah,
riding with
five-
him all season.
The 5 seed plays the Texans, so that is definitely something you want instead of
Yeah.
playing like the Ravens.
For my final game pick, like I said, I don't think anyone had this. It's an alternate line. I'm taking Tampa Bay over 29.5 points, and that's at -112.
That's
Almost-
a ton of points, Jamie.
They just put up 50 or close to what they put up against Carolina. This is the New Orleans again, one of the worst teams. They are going to blow them out, just like they did the Panthers. I mean, what they put up 47 versus the Panthers. I have faith they'll
That's a
do it
lot.
again.
Yeah, and
Those
I think,
games last week were some of the worst.
Yeah.
Some of the worst in the
Yeah,
season.
they
There was a lot of 40s to 10. or 40 to
they
7
put
or something.
48 up against Carolina. Okay, and let me say one thing too. Mike Evans has an incentive, and I'm sure this might come up in the player props. They have to throw it to him at least like 83 yards. Baker's going to sling it some more.
Not even that. If he gets 5 catches and 83 yards, he gets $3 million.
There you go.
He
So
They are going to give him the ball. Like, there's no
All
way.
right.
3 mil is a
all
lot.
gas right here for the Bucks. Why not?
All right.
There hasn't been a whole lot of mercy this year. I will say that. No team has gotten up touchdown and said, "We're good."
The way it should
Well,
be.
I think he could get that early and then it'd be done.
Yeah, I think he could get
First
it early
half
and
and then
then
be done.
they bench him. Yeah, but he is going to get it. Like, there's no way he doesn't.
All right, my next pick is going off of who I said was the worst team. I was traveling a lot over the last week, and there were 2 games. I don't know how my wife and I planned this out, but I was traveling on Sunday both days. Could not believe that's how the schedule went. There's only 2 games driving through that area of the United States that I could listen to. Both of them were the local broadcasts of the Tennessee Titans.
Oh my
And
God!
it was so bad.
Yeah.
The announcers, those, when you get those local announcers, like you watch a baseball game and they're just like, oh, and here we go, just like the rest of the season. They just like throw little things in like that.
They've
Um,
given up. You can tell it's been a long year.
It was bad. So I'm going to take Houston. They're actually getting +1.5. A bounce back game from that kind of debacle that they put up on Christmas. I just think they're a better team, better defense. I think they're certainly in a better direction than the Titans. And after kind of listening to those radio broadcasts, I was like, Titans might not win another one for the rest. Well, this is it. This is the rest of the season. So That's
They
that.
couldn't. I mean, it's week 18. All the teams, if you didn't make the playoffs, you should be tanking. You should lose this
Yeah.
last game and give your best chance at a draft pick.
That's
Because they're
what
going to do
you
what? They're going
should
to
do,
draft
but
someone?
the
Yes.
players never want to do that. And the
No.
players,
Well,
the players are trying to put film out there. The players are trying
yeah, I
to
was
get
about to.
incentives. Like, the players will
Some
never do
players.
that.
Yeah, some people, that might be your only shot. Hey, go out there, prove me you're a starter.
Yeah, and
I
scenarios
totally
where
get
like
that.
some dude's trying to get some yards for a incentive, and then one player's just like giving up. It feels like it's a bad locker room type deal. Like you gotta go out there and play for your teammates. I feel like
Look
you're
what
trying
the
to get these
Giants
guys
did.
opportunities, put some film out there.
Worst pick of the week.
Which one?
Stone picking the Colts against the New York Giants. That's
Oh.
sweet.
Oh yeah,
Was that you?
that was incredibly bad. I did two pick. I got one of them.
Okay.
They were still alive for
Did
the
you get the over?
playoffs,
Yeah.
and I can't believe
They were still alive.
Stone, are you going to really let Connor tell you it was the worst pick of the
Yeah.
week?
It wasn't great.
Mister, he has 100 wins, Connor.
It was again because of the situation. I couldn't watch a lot of stuff. It was one of the ones I got to watch. I was like, "Oh, let me pick this," because Stone picked it, and it was dead as soon as the game started.
It was. I don't. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It was like when the Colts lost to the Jags like last year when they had a playoff
Mhm.
spot too. Like they just need to beat the Jags to get in the playoffs. They couldn't
I
do it.
remember that.
But next game, Seattle -6.5 at -112. The Rams are pretty much benching everyone, and the Seahawks are gonna go out there and try and get the 10 wins. I think first year head coach, she's gonna try and show that they had a good season, but they didn't make the playoffs. 10 wins, I think, is looks pretty good for them with the ups and downs in the season. I think they're going against pretty much every backup on the Rams, so I think a touchdown win here is very plausible.
They are eliminated, right?
What was that?
Seattle. I think Seattle's eliminated from the
Yeah,
playoffs,
they're
right?
fully eliminated,
Yeah.
but I think they're still going to go out there and definitely play because it doesn't really make
Yep.
sense for them to tank since they're such a high.
I think Gino has an incentive.
Yeah, he only needs like 180 yards or something, and he needs to keep his completion percentage up, which I think he'll easily get. But
Yep, 185 passing yards for $2 million.
he will get that.
That's crazy. That's good. All right, we're gonna pass Jamie because he has exhausted his picks, and back to me. The next one I'm going to take is a team that I think could put up points, and then a team I think is garbage and has quit. And combine those for an over that does not seem too big at 41.5. I'm taking Chicago and Green Bay over 41.5. Green Bay's hot. You know what? I didn't put down the thing on it. I'll get that in a second. But
I'll get it for you. Keep talking.
I've been grinding on Green Bay the last couple of weeks. They let me down on the head-to-head with Jamie last week. They did not get that 1.5 cover. There's a couple decisions to go for it on fourth down. I think Green Bay is a really good team. They can put up points, and there's no reason for Chicago not to go out there and kind of throw everything at the wall because they're bad, and they need every rep they can get heading into this offseason with a rookie quarterback. So 41.5 seems low, and that's what I got.
And 41.5 is, what you doing over is -105.
Sweet.
Some good numbers. All right, going back to the Colts here. Same reasons I'm picking the over. Don't worry, I'm not picking the spread.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Colts defense just put up 40 or let 40. The Giants put up 40 on them. Jacksonville's defense is also hot garbage. Flacco's going to go out there slinging it. He's trying to get another backup job. Mac Jones is going to go out there slinging it. He's trying to get another backup job too. And I think over 43.5, very doable at -112.
Okay, I'm super torn here because there's one that I want to get just for the sake of getting it and just having it, because the number is outrageous. And then there's another one I actually believe in. So I'm going to do the one I believe in, and we could talk about the other one later.
You're not going to take the
Indy.
20.5?
No. It looks like a college line. I'm like, no one's going to lose by 20.5, but I'm going to take the Colts and a bounce back spot minus 3.5. Same
How are you gonna
reasons
call my
why.
pick the worst pick of the week and then turn around and pick them again?
Terrific question. Let me explain. They kind of got shamed a lot this week in the media, on ESPN, on the local media, that they were quitters. So I think they kind of have a bounce back there. I think, if there's an argument for who's worse than the Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguars might be the worst. Watching them down here in Florida, I think that Joe Flacco is going to put up some yards, throw some touchdowns. I like his player props. They're not on my list here, but they'll be on my own personal card. Bounce back.
I hate it. I actually hate it because the Colts cannot beat the Jags for whatever reason. I think they already lost to them this year.
Oh, that's what else. Bounce back from last season. Payback
Yeah.
from the end of last season and how much of a debacle that was. So that's where we're at.
The reason it was a debacle. There's a reason they sucked last week, and it's because they suck.
They sucked. That was a tough one. All right.
And
Stone,
then
you got two on your own as far as my.
I think I just got one.
You
I
think
lost
one?
last
Oh,
week.
you're right, because.
He gave you an extra
baby,
win.
fine. Yep, you start talking. I'm listening.
All right, so Jamie already kind of sniped two of my picks, so I'm really going far down the barrel here. But Carolina and Bryce Young have looked a lot better. The Falcons, I don't know, they just seem. Penix has not looked bad, but I just still feel like overall the Falcons, now that they're they're still not technically eliminated, but I can see Carolina covering the 7.5 point spread here at minus 105. Not my first pick, but I'm reaching down.
Super. I think it's good.
I like it. And we got a crying baby. All right. So that's going to close us out for the game side. And now we're going to get into the player side, which will be me being silent for a lot of it because I only have two picks, but we're going to go Stone with 9, Jamie with 6, myself with 2. So, Stone, whenever you're ready.
We brought up Mike Evans already, and I'm not going to take either of these lines. They're a little. Feel like his receiving line's at 99.5, and I feel like they get him like 90 yards or something, then they shut him down. I think is a huge possibility. So that line scares me a little bit, and I think his reception line's like something pretty high too. But I'm gonna pivot from that. I'll leave one of you guys to take it if you want. But I'm going to take Cortland Sutton over 80.5 receiving yards at minus 120. He needs 82 for his incentive, and I think it's like 500K or something. And I think going against the Kansas City backups, I think it's a real possibility that they start targeting him more when the game's put away to get him some money.
Oh,
I like it.
I'm not going to take Mike Evans yet either. I will go with another guy who loves his money, and that's Kyler Murray. I'm going to take over 34.5 rushing yards.
Next on my list.
Is that minus 125? It's a little chalky. But he needs 50 plus for a $750,000 incentive. He's had 49 or more rushing yards versus the 49ers in 5 out of the last 6 appearances. So I think he does it.
So he needs the rushing yards and a rushing touchdown, I think, to hit the incentive. Which might come up later, just saying.
It could come up later.
All right. Well, I knew you guys were the incentive masters, and you're going to be all stuck on these incentives, so I did not even look at them. I looked at a guy who I thought
it's
played
like
pretty
National
well.
Tight Ends Day all over again, man.
It could be. Now, this person needs to prove himself as well. He's a backup running back, but I thought he played well in replacement of James Conner, and I think he's going to get some carries this week. So, Michael Carter, and his rushing total is over 59.5 at minus 130, which is a little bit chalky. This is coming off of watching one of the few games I watched last week, seeing him out there and thinking, you know what, this guy looks like he has something to play for. He's got some energy. And so that's where I'm at with that.
I'm officially requesting next week. I want a total on Connor picking the Cardinals. Cardinals players, Cardinals picks. Because I feel like the last 8 weeks, it's been a lot of Cardinals and not a lot of wins.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
he's had a bad record all season on the Cardinals.
They were, for the record, they were like 7-5, or they were 2 games ahead, went in the division, and they were hot. They just beat a couple people that I thought were decent teams, and I put in a massive future for them to make the playoffs. Ever since that moment, they lost 3 in a row. They won 1. They got eliminated. None of their players other than McBride have been playing good, and I've been watching them a lot. So yes, it may be some bias in this in this one, but
Sounds like you're a jinx. That's what it sounds like. Anyways,
I'm not going to be sitting here sniping these incentives, fighting for these incentive boosts. All right, Stone, you're up next.
This would probably be the first touchdown pick outside of the touchdown parlay, but we mentioned it earlier. I think Davante Adams is going to be catching Aaron Rodgers' 500th touchdown. I think that's. I would almost guarantee it, but the odds are pretty low. It's at plus 140. We'll see. I want to be part of that action, though, so we'll see.
So, I mean, I did not pick it on the pod, but I bet on this last week, and it obviously did not go well. But like I said, I hope he does get it just so Aaron can retire.
You want Aaron to retire so bad.
Dude, he's garbage.
I think there's no chance he retires, actually, after this season. I think he's got too much. He's got to come back.
To be a starter?
Another shot.
To be a starter?
Somebody, somewhere. Somebody.
Which org is going to take him?
Well, it just depends on where the draft kind of lays out.
I mean, I just
the Jets don't want to keep him.
No, it's too much drama. It's okay if he were to go out and be a sub-mediocre quarterback and lose a bunch of games. That's one thing, but he's a sub-mediocre quarterback who gets on podcasts every Tuesday, and he gets into fights with various personalities. And you just don't need that for your organization. You have your wide receiver coming out telling you that he will ask to be traded if he's on the team next year. The dude can't be good. Like you're not going to keep that guy, and I don't know another organization that wants to take on that drama for what? So you can have a mediocre quarterback. You can get Jameis Winston or Joe Flacco or someone else that's quiet, takes his money, goes out and does the same thing. It's not worth it, in my opinion.
You don't think the reason the Jets sucks is the owner and his son going trades based off Madden rating and doing speeches in the locker room? I think there's more to it than just.
I mean, that's fine, but Aaron Rodgers definitely influenced the decision to get rid of Robert Saleh. And so they got rid of Robert Saleh and they didn't do any better. They went and got Davante Adams and they didn't do any better. They did a bunch of stuff for Aaron and it did not work at all.
Let me close up this argument by saying my opinion will dramatically change. There's a lot of Jets on this board this week. If we do not win these Jets picks, I will say that I'll be on Team Jamie. Get rid. All right. Jamie, you're up next.
For my next pick, I'm going to double up on a QB rushing stat. I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels over 46.5 rushing yards, and that's at minus 115. He has 74 last game versus Dallas, and he's hit this line in 4 out of his last 5 games. If Micah Parsons is playing hard, he tends to put some pressure on. Jaden can scoot.
You're not worried about this getting out of hand early and then.
I mean, it's 7.5
yards,
or it's a 6.5 point line.
It is, but all right.
I hope, but I mean, again, he could get this in 4 carries. I mean, he runs I think it's 8 yards a carry, so maybe a little more than 4. But
he went into game win mode running.
Yeah, he had like 115 last game, won 10 carries. So
love that. All right, this is my last pick of this side, and then I'll just kind of stand by and listen. Here's a guy that on our other kind of group chat we have been hammering, and he has been making us money. He seems to become the number 2 in Denver, and that is Marvin Mims. And his over I thought was kind of low. It was at 35.5 for a team that if you win, you're in. So I'm going to take 35.5. He's hit this the last 2 weeks, and his target share has dramatically gone up, something like 10, 8. He had a bunch of receptions, had 100 last week. So riding the hot hand, team that has to make the playoffs. Give me Marvin Mims.
I love Marvin Mims. I love a low second wide receiver lines. Him, Jordan Addison,
Yeah,
guys like that.
He hits those in one play too, which is great.
Yep, nice bomb.
All right.
All right, so Stone has 7 more, and Jamie has 4 more. So
I'm surprised this game hasn't been touched at all, but it's going to be one of the most watched games probably ever. Huge, huge consequences. Either you win your first round bye, you lose, you're the 5th seed on the road somewhere. But I'm going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown's line at 76.5 at minus 125. The Vikings have been giving up a ton of passing yards all year. They're kind of a pass funnel, just because their run defense is so good. You kind of have to pass on them, and a lot of teams usually end up behind, so they have to pass anyway. But I think it's going to be the over/under is like 56.5. It's going to be a high-scoring game, or Vegas thinks it is at least, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to have to be used if the Lions are going to win this game.
I like it. I like it a lot. I like it so much. I will also take a pick from that game. I will do the counterpart. I'll take Justin Jefferson over 94.5 receiving yards at minus 120. There's, like you said, there's going to be lots of points. There's going to be lots of throwing. Detroit has injuries in the secondary, and I think Jefferson's hit 90 in his last 5 games. So I think you can get this in a high-scoring shootout.
Back up to me, I think, right?
Yep.
All right. Going back to the Seattle game that I was picking earlier, JSN has quietly had a great season. It seems like he's the number 1 target on that offense. His receiving line was lower than DK Metcalf's, which seemed crazy to me, but over 60.5 receiving yards at minus 115.
I like it. Don't have much to say about it, but
Yeah, and I think Geno has to keep his completion percentage where it is. It can't go down. So that just means you're going to be passing to JSN with the high probability completion percentage.
yeah,
So,
short throws, some dink-a-dunks, some Julian Edelman type passes. For my next one, we're going to shift finally to the running backs. I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson over 96.5 rushing yards at minus 115.
it seems like they finally figured it out against the Commanders, at least, where if you just give him the ball, good things tend to happen a lot.
Well, he's actually had 90 rushing yards in 5 straight games. It's just dependent. Last game versus Commanders, I want to talk about this, is he got to 90 on 17 carries. The previous 4 games, he had at least 22 carries a game. So I think they fix that a little bit, and they give him the additional carries needed, at least to break the century mark.
They have to. Like, he is the... You're going to win this game if he goes off. So
which game happens first, Tampa Bay or Atlanta?
It might be
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay.
So they'll know if they need it or not.
That would be really terrible. They should have those games at the same time, I feel like.
They are, actually, I take it back. They are at the same time.
Okay. Good.
Okay, sweet.
They're at 1 o'clock on Sunday, guys. Simultaneous action.
All right, I'm also going to pick a running back. Tua's going to be out, so they're going to have to use Achane more. His line's pretty low. The Jets' defense has just completely given up on the team. It seems like ever since Saleh left, it seems like the Jets' defense has just been regressed a lot, and his line's only 49.5 rushing yards at minus 115. So I'll take this.
That's the first one I don't like. Even when Tua was in there, Achan's line were not high. He struggled to get over 50. I bet on him a lot early in the season because I had him on my fantasy team until my fantasy team just started sucking. I mean, he was great because he could get you that receiving total too. So I would lean towards like a rushing receiving line, but maybe they pull something out of the hat for you.
We'll see. I've hit some A-chain lines and I've lost some A-chain lines, so I'm trying to finish strong and hit another one.
So I will go with a running back too. I'm going to go with Derrick Henry. We talked about this college-like spread. That's over 94.5 rushing yards at minus 120. Can someone tell me who the quarterback is for the Browns this week?
DTR.
Nope.
No, it's Bailey Zappi. That means the Ravens are going to have a huge number of possessions. They don't need to do anything fancy. Honestly, depending on how much effort Cleveland's defense wants to give, he could have this at halftime. Derek has an outside chance at 2,000 yards. He needs 213 yards, I think. I don't think he gets 213, but maybe 100.
All right. Speaking of Joe Burrow, that we kind of talked about him earlier, the reason why he's had such a great year is because the Bengals defense is unbelievably soft. And I think if the Steelers have any chance of winning today, they need to give the ball to George Pickens. And I'm going to take his line at 67.5 at minus 120.
Yeah, I like the way Stone makes his picks because it's a great segue for my picks. If Pittsburgh has any chance of winning, they need to keep Cincinnati off the field. You do that by running the ball. I'm going to take Jaylen Warren as an extremely low line, I think, at over 41.5 rushing yards. That's at minus 120. We talked about how bad Cincy's defense is. He had 70 last game on 11 carries versus a very tough Chiefs defense. So I think versus this squishy Cincy defense, he can do that.
It really seems like Warren has kind of taken over for Najee as like the guy the Steelers want to give the ball to in these past few weeks at least, and he's always looked better, but I think they're starting to get him the ball more.
Yeah, if he's not there yet, he's gaining ground. I think this is similar to a Bucky Irving situation. They want to give it to him, but they can't yet. Last week it was 13 and 11 were the split on the carries, so very close to Jalen being equal.
All right, and then this next pick, I've rode this guy all year. He won me a fantasy championship, or he helped me win a fantasy championship. But Malik Neighbors over 74.5 receiving yards at minus 120. I think he's close to beating like the Giants rookie receiver record. I'm not exactly sure, but he's got to be close to it. And I think the Giants are gonna give him a ball against the Eagles backups.
All right, Stone, it's just
Oh,
you
it's
for
just me now?
242.
Yeah, just take it away, buddy.
All right, and then Joe Flacco's gonna be out there. He's been chucking it. Josh Downs, he's just looked decent this season, especially better with Flacco, but his line's pretty small at 51.5 receiving, minus 120. This kind of ties up with my over pick I chose earlier, and I think Downs will hit this line. And then for my last pick, the Browns give up the second most sacks in the league. It's them and the Bears are like they're pretty close, and they're like 10 sacks higher than the third place. And I think Bailey's happy. He's gonna be having a hard time. And I'm gonna take Owe is his last name over 0.25 sacks at minus 115.
Would you be able to spell that?
OWEH.
Sounds like a great pronunciation to me. 0.25, buddy.
Okay, got it. And what was the number on
Minus
that?
115.
Got it.
I think that's 9 picks, right?
That is 9 picks. You filled up the entire board. If you win again, I'll have to. It does take me about 15 minutes to fix the spreadsheet every time you guys break it. Oh,
You
that's
better
okay.
set 15 minutes aside for next week when I'm at 10.
So,
I
and
can't chew on
real
this
quick,
cord.
just to circle back on Neighbors, he has 1,140 receiving yards. The Giants' rookie record is 1,305 by Beckham.
Okay. Well, he's probably
So,
a little
I
far
mean,
off, but
165. He could do it.
He could do that. Also, I can't believe you won that fantasy football league.
Well, also, Neighbors has done this in 14 games, just to be clear.
yeah, he's crushed it all year. Him and Brian Thomas have just absolutely crushed it this year, and I have both of them on my fantasy team, and they're both going to be keepers for next year. So, really happy about that.
Look at that.
All right, I'm going to get us pivoted over to the touchdown parlay. We haven't hit this since week 11. It's mostly my fault. I'm on a unreasonable bad streak. I've lost 5 in a row for the squad. So I'll go last. And Jamie, you've hit the last 2, so you can go first.
Yeah, I'm going to reject Stone's keep the guys for the playoff scenario. I got to get wins. So I'm going Justin Jefferson, who I did not see on here somehow. Probably because his odds are really bad, but for this one, it's only minus 110.
That's a great pick.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Is it you next or me?
So, no, you can go. I've been
You lost 5 in a
unreasonably
row.
bad. Yeah.
Mentioned it earlier. Jamie took his rushing line, so he needs the rushing line and the touchdown to hit his 750K incentive. I'm going to take a Kyler Murray touchdown at plus 145.
Like that. And then I'm going to go with Drake London in a game they have to win. Number 1 wide receiver on the team. And that's at 105. So that puts us at 859 on the parlay. Those are the ones we've won. We've hit a 7 plus 780 and plus 800 so far this year. So we need to win one in the next 3 to carry us to the end of the season, which we did this last year where we had positive all year and then we just fell one below at the end.
I will say for our listeners real quick, if you're not taking the whole parlay and you're doing the touchdowns individually, we've only had 1 week where you didn't get a touchdown. So that's going to be a plus, right?
Yeah, we are 27 and 24 on that. And that is plus 8 units on the touchdown side. So that's kind of how we count them here as well. There are some guys that I think we waited. I'll say this about the touchdown parlay. We waited on some guys who are not going to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
And that was, I would have taken Chase Brown if he was healthy today, but it seems like he might not play. But anyway,
I will say, I mean, there's others that we didn't pick also because of their odds. You know, like Saquon.
True.
Saquon pulled a little bit of, who'd we have last year? McCaffrey.
Yeah.
You know, his minus 210 every week, you just can't take it.
Well,
even though
when Montgomery went out, Jahmyr Gibbs' line was at like minus 300, and I don't think he's on the board there either.
Yeah, but
might
those
be
are
taking
those are guys,
some chalky
exactly.
lines once we get to the playoffs.
I'm going to take some chalky lines in the playoffs. Yeah. Make sure we get some of these guys in. We can't go the whole season without betting some of these guys that are scoring every week.
Yep.
All right. Does anybody have anything else to add before we close it out for the week?
No, I think that's it.
I don't think so.
No. All right. I appreciate everyone for joining. We got 2 more episodes left to end up the season. We will do the wild card in the divisional playoff round. After that, it gets kind of challenging. So 2 more weeks. And I'll see everybody again next week.